I should probably go to some fake data and talk about how we can import this data instead of having this hard coded. So I guess let's go ahead and do that. So what I'm going to do is create a folder, call it source. Inside of this folder, I'm going to do data, another folder, and I'm going to do users.ts. And I'm going to do export constant users equals right here. And what I want to do is use TypeScript, to our advantage, and declare a type for this, so that we know that we have to provide certain values. Like we don't want a user without a first name. We don't want a user without a username. So we should require that it's there. So typically that's defined in like a model file or a model folder. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So we have source data. What I'm going to also do is model. And then inside of the model, I'm going to do user.ts. Then what I'm going to do is export type user is this. And remember the user property that we talked about, which is, me, I have a first name, got a last name, I got all the things. All right, so what I'm going to do here is first name. We're going to give this a type of string to say that, the user.first name is going to be some text. We're going to have a last name. We will have a username, same thing, will be a string. And then we will have a bio, same thing, a string. So yeah, so now we have this user type. What we can do is come over here, add a colon, and do user. And we can see that it imported it for us, saying, yeah, imported the user type for us. After this user, I'm going to do some brackets. And what this says is that the users, constant here, the value here, is going to be a list of users. So it's going to be more than one user. So remember that a user is just an object. I'm just an object with a property of first name, last name, all of those things. What I'm going to do is first name, Matthew Ruiz. Oh, that's not it. Last name is Ruiz. Username is Chooch. Bio is what we had before, which is this. And we'll have to change this actually in the future because we want to allow for these @ symbols, but we will do that at another point. Okay, sweet. So we got the user. What I'm going to do is go to app.tsx, and we're definitely not going to use this user list in the future, right? Because the profile is about me, so we should store information about me in a certain place. So yeah. So what I'm going to do is grab that user. So I'm going to do const myUser equals users sub 0. And if I console.log myUser, what we can see if I do Command J, actually, nope, that was Control J, Command J, is my users down here with all that information. Console.log is your friend 100%. I would recommend that you over console.log, so much so that some console.logs make it into the PRs that you have, and someone is commenting, doing PR review and saying, hey, can you please take out this console.log? That's a super simple task to do, but it signals that you're at least using console.log. Development is all about knowing the data that you're working with. What form is the data in? What stage of its life cycle is the data in? That is super important. TypeScript helps with that. That's why I like TypeScript, is because it helps my brain, through that data lifecycle process, the lifecycle of just your code, your components, and all of the things. So yeah, console.log, use it a ton, make it a habit for sure. So in this case, my user is a variable that we're declaring inside of the app component, and we're giving it a value of users index 0. Right, so users is a list with index of 0 equaling this object. Right, so this my user is equal to all of this information, which we can see down here. So instead of hard coding these values, what I'm going to do is do my user dot first name. Now you can see that doesn't actually work, right? It's just text at this point. So what we got to do is wrap this text inside of curly brackets, And these curly brackets put us in like a JavaScript context. And it allows us to call things that are outside of this return statement. So yeah, so we have my user dot first name, give it a space, and do my user dot last name, and there it is. Right, so we got the same values. So I'm gonna go back to here. Okay, the username. I want to make sure that the @ symbol wasn't part of the username. Oops. My user dot username. Same thing there, and then bio. This is where we're gonna see the biggest benefit. Is, and I don't, like I said, I don't know that. We'll have to figure it out later, but yeah. In terms of like the username, clickable, and all that stuff. So we're gonna do my user dot bio, and we're still good. All right, so that's how you use dynamic data.